And today, I'm happy to know that there are so many resources, and that's why I'm championing to make sure that no other woman does the same thing I did, is to start the same way the professionals were talking about that yesterday in terms of doing things the right way. So when I measure my success is to know that I am a trailblazer, having started the first Kenyan restaurant in the United States and woman-owned restaurant. Being a trailblazer is that every woman's dream is valid. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And I'd like to comment on that because I feel for some reason that we all go through the same stuff. We just don't talk about it enough to be able to say, you know what, I can help you. And I think conferences like this are very helpful in a sense that it brings a community together. For example, I'm from Uganda. For those of you who don't know, I think I'm challenged because I don't have the accent. But at the end of the day, I know who I am, and I'm very comfortable in my skin. And I think you're very comfortable in your skin. And this, even if you didn't start the traditional way, you're still able to make it. And I think that's the most important thing. So we'll move on to Karen.
Thank you. Okay. You're asking which woman inspires?
Who was the first woman that actually inspired you on your journey, and measure your success now?
Okay. To be honest, the person who inspired me is right here. I have known this woman for over 20 years. And I saw her start the business from the scratch. I was even one of the person I'm telling, Mombi, I think you should still be employed and do this on the side because your children are still young. But I saw this woman, she was so zealous. And there are so many challenges I have seen her go through. So many restaurants coming and opening, stealing all her employees, and then she was still stand. So if you ask me who is my inspiration, when I'm working today, I look at Mombi, the way she travels today, and she keeps on telling me, let me tell you, when your business starts working for you, that it can continue without you being there. That is when you know you are successful. And so I have been just watching Mombi, even when I'm doing my business. I have not gotten to where she is though. However, if I look at where I'm going and what I have in mind, I am just happy to know that I'm working in a field that I love much. And every time I'm doing these projects, it's just like from my heart. And that is something that I am happy to look at. If you ask me, how do I measure success? I think for me, success is when I'm doing something I like. I wake up in the morning, doing this coding, I just feel this is me. And that is how I know I'll be successful, and I am successful at this point. Thank you.
Give back, right, to the community. And this is what we did, because it takes time to leave your restaurant, your home, and come to another city to give. So that's really appreciated. Thank you for that answer. Grace.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for that. And for me, mine is a little bit different. And I was thinking about that. Who's the first woman that inspired me? And from the conception of the organization that I'm the leader, I think I was thrown into the leadership through the woman that brought me into this world. And I know along the way a lot of other women I looked up to, but I believe my mom is the one who made me the person that I am today, because when I was growing up, she made me a leader by taking me out there to lead the youth in my community. So when I relocated here in a foreign land with nobody else, just me and my family, and went through a very tragic loss, and that's where the conception of the Favored Daughters of King came in. And I saw myself becoming that mother that had a heart, or still have a heart, when I see women. We have so many women in our community. Some are single mothers. Others have gone through loss. the church is there, but it's not literally helping them to cross that path. And that's where Favored Daughters of King comes in, because we believe in empowering every woman, regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of your background. We bring them together, and like the lady said, we are not only involved, I'm not only involved in Favored Daughters of King, but I'm involved in other community affairs, in other organizations. We are together with Carlen, that's KMG, I'm the assistant chair, and this is just to bring the women together, encourage them, and make sure we are not leaving any woman behind in times of their low moment, especially. You know so much, we go through so many things like sicknesses, losses, but we start there in that gap that you don't have to go through this alone. So, my mom was the first woman that literally, even today, when I'm doing this, I'm doing, because we used to have even children coming at our home, and we are raised there that never were birthed by my mom. And even today, they know that is their home. And I've hosted so many people coming through Green Card and all that, and even today, we've gone into the community to reach out to those women that need our help. And the second part was, how do I measure my success? When you are launching, and by the time I was launching Favored Daughters of King, there was a lot of setback. And like I said, 2 weeks ago, we did our 6 years meeting, gala dinner. When I look, for me, the success is seeing women come back with testimonies. Having a night whereby you see women, you have already overcome those setbacks that were there, and every year you hear great testimonies. You see women coming from our meeting, giving testimonies about our speakers like Dr. Bore. They reached out to them, they touched their heart, and then you see lives being transformed. That to me is success. Thank you.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. I love to hear women helping women. I think oftentimes we get so caught up that we don't pay attention to what's going on because we're also trying to grow. But when you bring women together of all societies, and you're helping everyone. And I believe that we cheat ourselves if we don't get out of our communities, right? For example, for me, it wasn't really easy coming into at that time, the East Africa Chamber of Commerce, and being that it was really male-dominated and mostly Kenyan, and me being a female and being Ugandan, it was it was a difficult process, but I think being focused on that particular aim and saying, you know what, I like a community that's diverse, that's going to build change within the community, if that makes any sense. So my next question is for Mumbi and Karen, and again, it's another two-part question. What inspired you to become an entrepreneur? You might have answered that in the first question, but if you can elaborate on that, that would be great. And I'd like to ask our audience, if you are having conversations and they're a little loud for other people who are really wanting to listen, I really would ask you to step outside and have your conversation, because this is the last and it's the best, right? So we want to give the same respect to these women, to the courtesy to be listened to. So let me ask this question. What inspired you to become an entrepreneur, and how can women be supported in balancing their personal and professional lives, and how does that impact gender equality in the workplace? And I'll start with you, Mumbi, and then we'll move to Karen.
Yes, thank you, Alison, again, and Karen, I'm very humbled by your very kind and inspiring words. Before I answer that question, I also need to mention that I do serve as a board member in the Kenyan Women in the United States, which has a membership of 16,000 women. I also serve as a board member in the Kenya Advisory Council, and we will be the team that will be retiring next weekend. Benson and I serving the community in Uganda for 30 years. And I'm also very proud to mention that I was very instrumental with Elsie coming in and Karen coming in to the now called the East Africa Chamber Networking, founder of the Women Connect Women. And let me go straight to the question. I'll see what inspired me to become a restaurant is that I started off by selling insurance in this country in one of the very, very hoods in Dallas, Oakland. And it was the only time I was going to make my money or make sure that my production was what was expected by the company. I had to work late. So having to go home, my children were young at that time. I was still expected to cook and take care of my children. And my way from work to home, that's when you wish that, oh, I wish there was somewhere with pick ugali and pick some beef stew or skumawiki, so that I could just the same way we pick burgers on the drive to go home. So I realized there was a gap that needed to be filled, and I transferred from selling insurance and came to work for Citigroup. I returned back to Citigroup and worked for Citigroup after my first business had failed. So I returned back to full-time employment in Citigroup, and then I was laid off. After I was laid off, I had all the time, we were given a good package. So definitely with 1 year unemployment, you know that is when you want to take care of the system. We thought that was being wise then, which is not the right thing to do. I stayed home and I started cooking, inviting friends, come for lunch, come for dinner, and then I realized, oh, there is a need. So to make good money, or money that was Angosama Wapi. So I started cooking in the morning and going to Kenyan garages, delivering food 1 plate at a time to the garages or Kenyan-owned stores like the truckers and everything. Now, that the reason why is that there was an opportunity, and there is an opportunity which has continued to be there, and a need for people to have the food. What we're doing as African region now is to the convenience of having the food ready, pick up the food delivered to your home. Every woman and every man can cook in their own home. But what we are surviving on now is the convenience of the service industry. The second part of the question, which is gender equality in the workplace, there is still a challenge in my particular industry of women. I'm yet to see a woman who still owns a fully owned restaurant in Kenya, from Kenya in the United States. So there's still a lot of imbalance, and if they do, they're either partnering, and if they do, they're probably just in the kitchen, not fully honest. So that's one area that we need to encourage our girls, mothers, sisters, that there is still that opportunity, and there's still so much money to go around for everybody. Even if 3 other restaurants were still open in Dallas, there's still enough for everybody. So how can these women be supported to make sure that they are supported with what they want to do, whether employed or in business? I think the greatest challenge in this country is childcare, and I did hear of a professor who figured out a way to have childcare to have women go to school in one of those panels yesterday. Is that childcare and women being informed about the resources that are available for them, because that is the biggest challenge. We don't want to ask, we don't want to seek, and we want to do things ourselves, not having done some research to figure out what resources are available for whatever business that you want to do. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer. And you said a lot of really powerful things. For example, the story you told about going from garage or place to place. It takes time, right? Yes. All of it takes a lot of time, and just having the patience, the resources. I always say that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just ask people here who have experienced it. You know, they're available to you. The resources are there. So save yourself some time and ask people who have done it, because it can become very difficult if you don't. And sometimes we tend to close ourselves off that way. But I'd like to turn, maybe push my chair back and turn to our new guests to introduce themselves. And then we'll bombard you with some questions. How about that?
No problem.
Okay, that's very good.
Okay, my name is Betty Hamisha. I stay in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm one of the women who likes to talk about women empowerment. I like tackling difficult topics like domestic violence, mental health, and also I'm into youth empowerment. That's something which I'm very passionate about, because I was born in Morana, in a place called Mugili, and the way I was brought up and my experience when I was young, I was dreaming that one day I'll be a voice for every woman, especially about domestic violence. I experienced it, I saw it with all my aunties, my mom, and it's something which I'm very passionate and talking about. And also, I like empowering women, financial goals, career choices, and how you can make a woman, just a normal woman, I mean a woman, normal one, to become somebody big by empowering them and telling them every time that they can be able to make it if they can believe in themselves and they have that they should love themselves and they should be able to accept themselves the way they are, and from there they can be able to be somebody. So I came to realize when I came here in America, I came in America 2016. I've not been here for so many years, but when I came here, I experienced what some women were going through here, and that one drove me to open a group called AFRO-AMERICAN. I'm the founder, and we normally tackle different agendas like Kamweredo, merry-go-round, birthday, like when you have your birthday, we recognize you, we support you, and also we have an investors club, and also basically having different topics like if one of us is going through domestic violence, or maybe they have an issue with immigration, or they have any kind of an issue, they should have a voice and speak up. And don't be scared that we're gonna expose you, because that's something which has been happening in America. People like blocking other people so that other people can be able to shine. So my group, basically, I really support for every woman to speak up, and by telling them that you have to speak up, your voice is heard.
My next question is going to be for, can you guys hear me?
Okay, I'll just go ahead and speak loudly. My next question is for Grace.
Grace, if you can tell us, how can we ensure that women, being that you're the leader of FDK, how can we ensure that women can access affordable health care? And I know your background is in nursing, including reproductive health services, and make more informed decisions. And of course, you can take that any way you choose.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Women and health. And like I said in the beginning, a woman is the one who is like the anchor, and I'm not belittling the men, but the health of a woman in the family means a lot, both emotional and literally your physical. And one thing I really encourage, and I usually do, even in the organization, is even going into a lot of awareness and requesting the women to do their annual checkup. And above everything, and this is out of my experience, is to every woman and also every man, and each one of us should know the basic of their health. That you can even go to a doctor and you tell them you're not feeling well, they tell you you're okay, but deep inside you, you know something is not right. I'm encouraging, in fact, the last 2 years, I became a new campaign of telling people, be aware of your health. Because I went through the same, whereby I went to the hospital, and this is Leo. I went to the hospital, had so many tests, and the doctor gave me a clean bill of health. But inside me, I felt I was dying. And I knew something was very wrong. I went to the emergency so many times that they would send me home telling me, Grace, you are okay. Until I pushed and even directed the doctors on the test to do with the little knowledge that I had. So mine is to encourage everybody, not even women, especially to our men. And I know this is women and I'm addressing women, but also to our men, have those annual checkup. To the women, we know the basic things, mammogram, pap smear. Let that be literally every year if you can, because like the panel that was there for health, they said, if something is caught on time, it's better than when it's caught up late. To our gentlemen, our fathers, our dads, our brothers, don't fear to go to the doctor when you're not feeling well. Because we've had so many cases, Elsa, even in our city in Dallas, whereby people are going in, they have been having the symptoms, but they are fearing to go to the doctor. Believe me, I don't think nobody goes to the doctor happy, because you have that fear, you don't know the report, but you are even in a better position when you know what you are dealing with. So my encouragement and my prayer to everybody who is under my voice booth online, make sure you know your body and also do those general checkup. For the men, they know what to look for. And the new campaign also that is going on is for our men to go for colonoscopy. At least at the age of from 45 or from 40. But if there is history in your family of cancer, we better start it early, even for both women. If you know you have history of cancer in your family, especially for breast cancer, make sure you start that visit to the doctor early. And that will literally save your life. Or let's preach to our sisters. Let's encourage them, to our mothers even back home, to our family back home. And that's something I've also encouraged the ladies and the women I talk to. Because we are more informed, I will encourage you, pay for your family. Get your mothers, if your mom is there, your sisters are there. Pay for them to go for mammogram. Pay for them to go for pap smear. And you may save somebody's life. Thank you very much. Let me add something there, Elsa. We have been having some drives. As I said, we have 800 women in our group. We have had doctors and hospitals volunteering to do free mammogram and pap smear, and we have been bringing all those information to those women, and they have been benefiting on those. Those who doesn't have insurance, they get a chance to be checked. So we just look for those hospitals, ask them to help us, and they take a day to come and do the drive. So.
Thank you so much. And my mic's not working. Anyway, thank you so much for that input. I think it's important to really important to address the fact that, the women issues are not just for women, for those men in this room. It's a people issue. One of the issues that I've recently found that are bothersome is men making decisions on women's bodies, right? It's the same thing as, I think we should all do the things as female and males to do the things that you guys recommended. But I also feel it's important for us to have the power to make our own decisions, right? To make sure that we're the ones who decide what we want to do with our bodies. So it comes to me asking you this question. Being that you've been in the field of helping young women as it relates to domestic violence, what are we doing with our young girls, especially, I guess, who deal with a lot of trauma, whether it's being bullied at school or being in a situation where they have early pregnancy and they don't have anyone to talk to? I recently read a story, or actually saw it on, I don't know if it was YouTube or something, where a teenager left a baby in the restaurant. I'm not sure if you saw the story, but it's such a sad issue because you don't know how these things come about. So what do you feel like is the most significant aspect of what you deliver to these young ladies?
Let me say this. First of all, I would encourage every parent should be friends with their own kids. As a parent, it's your responsibility to make sure you have a good communication with your kids. This is something which happened a long time ago. We never used to have any say in our families when we were young. And because now we are this generation right now, we have to encourage that. Parents, please, be close to your kids. When they make mistakes, don't hate them. Don't bring those propagandas, old-time propagandas. You know, this is not the way we do it. This, you have to embrace your own kid. Make your kid as hard. You cannot, like now we have so many cases even of mental health. We are having these cases of our kids killing themselves. You don't know what is happening. We don't want to have to listen to our kids. So it is us as parents. If my kid come to me and tell me, oh mom, I'm pregnant, do I have to chase him away from home? Will I embrace him? So us as parents, we have to start getting close to our own kids. No matter what they do, we have to embrace our own kids. Because if a girl, let's say me, I get my daughter, she's pregnant, am I gonna chase her away from home, or am I gonna bring her back to home?
I think it's important to have conversations with your children, but you also have to understand that, and I think I was talking to Dr. Vora yesterday, our children are always going to share information with you, even if you want to be their friend. So there's, to me, I feel like, and you know, ladies, we can have this conversation, there's a difference between being a friend who cares, but sometimes you need that person who's hard on you to make you grow, right? To say, you know what, yeah, I love you and I trust you, but if you can't speak to me privately, then let's find someone you can talk to, someone who can help you through it. And of course, you would never chase your kids. That's unconditional love, unless you hope it is, right? But I think oftentimes as parents, we're also afraid of our own images, which is a little selfish, right? Because we're not really thinking about our kids. We're saying, oh, how is everyone else going to look at me? Yes. But I think, you know, the jobs that we do as women, the jobs we do as men, as being a parent, is very difficult. But from your perspective, I really just wanted to understand what we can do possibly better when it comes to, especially, I guess I want to get to the point where you have a boyfriend in high school who's abusive. A lot of kids will not talk about that. They don't have those discussions. So how do you deal with that as far as, you know, within your organization to help these young children?
Basically, what I would advise such kind of girls is to have a voice, to encourage every woman not to close up, but to have a voice. If you are going through something, speak up. Encourage people to speak up of how they feel. The girl child should speak up, and we should always be there and offer them a listening ear without judging them. And also we can create more awareness by educating them about relationship. We should be vocal that sometimes you can be in a relationship and a relationship is not good for you. So it's just about vocalizing the idea and try to advise them about how things are done. Yeah, and they should not feel like they are doing it in the wrong way. Because most of us, we suffered a lot of childhood traumas because we never used to have a voice. So me, what I would encourage every young man, every young girl, speak up how you feel. It doesn't matter if you look stupid or you look how, but speak up. Even if someone is like, unasema nini, unaniambia no, just listen. Speak up and make sure the person you're speaking to, they can listen. Just listen. Yes.
Very good. Thank you so much. So we've spoken about many things, you know, and we can't cover it all in 1 hour. However, it's important to know that, you know, speaking of women in business, women in entrepreneurship, women in organizations, gender equality, you know, I think it's important to cover these conversations as much as we can. So these ladies are here for you to reach out to if you're interested in any of the subjects that we covered. But I'd like to end with one last question, and this question is for everyone on the stage. What advice would you give other women who are looking to start a business or an organization or just getting involved within their communities, not necessarily just, and I'd like for you to speak from a perspective that's really global. So think about this answer. I'm not just relating it to Kenya, I'm relating it to globally, because women, we all have the same bodies. Our skin may be a little bit different, but we're all the same inside. So think about, what advice would you give other women who are looking to start organizations, starting a business, or getting involved in the community? We'll pass it around.
What I would encourage every woman who wants to start their own organization, first of all, it has to start with you. Do you have a passion for empowering women? Can you be able to stand in a gap of another woman? If you feel that you have that passion, you can always go for it. All what you have is to make sure you stabilize yourself, you look for, like other women who are leaders, and you can talk to us, and we can be able to take you through what we are going through. And let me tell you, hakuna mtu hawezi. Everybody can be able to do something as long as you can stand the gap of another woman. Yes.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Let me go first.
Okay.
We are having like 5 minutes to go.
No problem.
Yeah, so, I'm good? Okay. Now, what advice can I give to that woman who wants to start a business or an organization? First, remove fear. Because fear is the thing that makes people not to venture on the things they want to do. If you are not afraid, you can do everything. Sometimes, I remember when before I started my business, I was afraid of failing, especially I don't want to lose money. But when I let that go, I was saved. The second thing, if you don't have fear, make sure you start a business of what you like to do. Like now you have seen a lot of women are running and opening all these nursing home health cares, and they're not nurses. They don't like to be nurses, and they're frustrated. So start a business of what is in your heart. When you do that, as you heard Mombi say, she started just cooking because she has that interest in cooking. Start with what you have. I do the IT because I love it. So do a business that will not make you tired by the end of the day. Thank you.
One thing I would say, like she said, do not be afraid, and also do not limit yourself. Like you say, you came into chambers, I'll say chambers of commerce, that's what it has been. There was so many Kenyans, and you came in and you pleaded. And by the way, she has really done a good job for the years that you have been the leaders, and I look forward to see you more. So one thing I'll say from experience, do not reinvent the wheels. Learn from others who have already, like if you're starting an organization like Favor Daughters of King, you have to learn from others who are already doing whatever is close to your vision. Know your vision, light it, and learn with it. When you are bringing others people on board, know who you are bringing in. Because bring in people who have already brought to your vision. Because what happens, you bring people on board, then they started detailing you. Stay focused. Learn from those who have already gone before you, or people who are already doing, if it's business. Like our sister Mombi, if today I'm opening a restaurant in Dallas, she's the best, she's gonna be my best friend. And we need to learn there's no competition. Because that's what is killing our society, our community. If we can learn to partner. 2 years we did not do Favor Daughters of King event because of COVID. And I literally was so afraid to come back because so many things were negative. There was so much negativity. But I believed, I stepped in, and I got a good network of people who are already doing better, have done events after COVID, and we had the greatest event in Dallas these past 2 weeks. So, as a woman, learn from others. Don't reinvent the wheels. When people have already done it, tap from them.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And one last thing I just wanted to do, a throwaway for the medical, let us get resources from our community. Obamacare, I don't know whether it's offered everywhere. People thought it was for the low income. You can get treated anywhere, especially in Texas. I'll say in Texas, any hospital that is covering Obamacare. If you don't have an insurance, go for it and get yourself checked. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
Oh, thank you. I will not repeat the great words that I've said by the three ladies over here, but I have one word, is that as a woman, don't care about the public image, what they say. Do you? And the other thing is, let's fix each other's crowns without taking a microphone and telling everybody. Give back to the community. Thank you.
Very good. So with that said, what I like to end with is to ask myself the same question. I think all the ladies here have made great points in, advising on what one can do, whether it's business or starting an organization. I like to add that I think you mentioned when COVID started, that's when I made moves to change my business and decide to say, you know what, I'm going to sell real estate full-time. I've been in the mortgage business for a while, 17 years or so. And then I decided to follow what you're saying, to not be fearful, because anytime you let fear hold you back, you will not succeed. You have to take risk in this life to do anything, right? Even simply having kids is a risk, because that's 18 years of your life, or 21 years, depending on how long they want to stay home, without paying bills, that you have to deal with that. So at the end of the day, I think in life, it's about taking risks and making sure that, you know what, if there's a problem, can I solve that problem? If there's something to give, and I've had an experience, and I know other people have experienced it, can I do something about it? So as women, none of us would be here without women, right?
Yes, correct.
But I'm so grateful to have you ladies on the stage, and I'm so thankful that I had an opportunity to really get to know you, right? And I hope to see you in Dallas. Thank you, OVC, for having us. With that said, I think we'll end the session. Thank you so much. All right, thank you for going in. Yeah.